appointments for his next administration. Now, yesterday he announced that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk would lead the new Department of Government Efficiency. Earlier today, Vivek took to Twitter saying in part, quote,
My question is, when does Elon Musk ever have the time to do any of these things? I'm impressed. Don't get me wrong. He is the owner of SpaceX. He's the owner of Tesla. He also is the owner of Twitter. Now they hired him to be what they call government efficiency. And is there typically only one person in that particular position? And is the reason why it is two because Elon Musk ain't got enough time? There's only 24 hours in a day. How does Elon even find the time, bro?
If we're ever going to crush the bureaucracy, it's going to happen from the outside. Just the hard truth. And today, the department's X account was launched with a tweet saying, quote, working overtime to ensure that your tax dollars will be spent wisely. Vivek Ramaswamy joins us now.
I like the sound of that.
All right, so you're partnering with the smartest guy in the country. There's no doubt about it. And the richest guy. But you look at Elon Musk, and he's a genius. If you can figure out a way to go save those astronauts that are lost in space, God bless you. I could never figure that out in 500 lifetimes. So I admire that. He's talking about $2 billion in cuts by identifying waste, fraud, and abuse. Is that a realistic number? That's a big number.
Yeah, $2 billion isn't a big number, but $2 trillion is, Sean, and that's what we're looking at here. Look,
$2 trillion. I stand corrected.
No, I want to be very clear about the scale. I want to be very clear.
He's like the perfect politician, perfect speaker, everything, bro. The smile, everything he does is just so... He's like a cartoon character, bro. It's like he's not even real.
The scale that we're thinking here, we're not thinking small. We're playing big here because we have a once-in-a-generation mandate right now. The American people have voted for drastic reform of the government, and our federal government is broken. It's no secret that it is a fourth branch of government, the administrative state that makes most of the rules, that creates a federal bureaucracy that's hampering our economy. So what do we want to do? We want to go in and slash and burn that bureaucracy to help Americans, stimulate the economy, and to restore self-governance again, Sean. The people we elect to run the government, they're not even the ones who run the government anymore. It's these unelected bureaucrats. Republican politicians have talked about fixing this for a long time, not with a lot of progress. So I do think it's going to take a couple of outsiders. Elon and I have built a great friendship over the last year. We're working together intensely, and we're not going to stop till we get the job done.
When Ronald Reagan became president,
that dude is probably the most articulate person I've ever seen in my entire life. He's like a computer, bro. Like when he speaks, it's just like, does he even have time to process the things he's saying before he says it?
And on the issue of defense, he called it a gap of vulnerability. China, Russia, they have hypersonic missile technology. We do not. We're going to have to spend a lot of money on defense to catch up and to surpass our enemies. Social Security, Medicare are headed towards insolvency. We'll have to spend money there. To me, that money is going to be made up through energy dominance. That's where I think our greatest opportunity is. Your thoughts?
Look, part of what's holding back energy dominance in this country is that administrative state. Look at the regulations coming out of the Department of Interior, the slow permitting requirements, how hard it is to open a new refinery. So I think that is the root cause of our failure as a country, is this unelected fourth branch of government. And I think they look at elected officials as these cute little puppets that come and go every little while. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town. Donald Trump's the president. He has mandated us for radical, drastic reform of this federal bureaucracy with the learnings of that first term. And you look, Elon's solving major problems of physics. I came from the world of biology. What we're solving here now is not a natural problem. This is a man-made problem. And when you have a man-made problem, you better darn well have a man-made solution. That's what we're bringing to the table. We're assembling the brightest minds in the country. This is the equivalent of a modern Manhattan Project to take on, I think, the major problem holding our country back. It's the federal bureaucracy. Target that cost, save the money, restore self-governance. And Sean, I think we did something pretty novel.
They are assembling the Avengers. I've said that in another video. They literally are assembling the Avengers.
If I may say so, if I just want to say is this Department of Government Efficiency, it is built with an end date. We want to be done by July 4th, 2026. So for the first time in history, creating a department, creating a new government project that is designed to end when its work is complete. That's on the 250th anniversary of America's Declaration of Independence. And that's the gift we want to give this country on that birthday.
Well, I hope Congress adopts your recommendations. They did not do so in the Reagan years with the Grace Commission. What are the first things you're going to look at?
Look, we got a long list, and a lot of this is to stay tuned for what's coming on January 20th, because some of this we do want to come as in a big way swinging on day one. But I'll give you some examples, Sean. Most federal employees right now, most Americans don't recognize this, they don't even show up to work. So if you tell people you have to affirm that you want a job, that you have to show up to work 5 days a week, how many of those employees are going to quit right out the gate? That's a question we should ask. Those are the kinds of inefficiencies, low-hanging fruit, that Democrats and Republicans or black or white Americans alike can agree on. We should not be wasting that kind of money as a federal government. And so in that sense, tackling this kind of waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat, we're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
I have less than a minute, but I think part of it has to be baseline budgeting, eliminate the built-in increases every year that we have for every department. I think getting rid of the Department of Education, giving that money directly to states, or maybe adopting something like the penny plan. Maybe it's the nickel plan, where you cut, a nickel out of every dollar every year for 5 years.
The correct allocation of tax dollars in the right places will make me so much more of a less frustrated citizen of America. Because as American citizens, we all work hard for our money. And when that money is taken out of our checks, or when we have to pay taxes, that comes literally from the money that we've earned, and it's not allocated properly, and it's not to the benefit, and it's just all over the place. It's a very frustrating thing. So I hope they do a good job at what they're pretty much promising on. I hope they actually distribute and place the money, the tax dollars, in places that will actually be useful to bettering this country and bettering America, instead of giving it over here to that country, giving it over there to that country. And you see what I'm saying, bro? Man.
You balance the budget, which has not been done since Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House. You have about 30 seconds.
Well, funny enough, Sean, actually much of our spending is even for programs whose authorization has lapsed. So the authorization to spend the money, the appropriation has lapsed, and yet still the money still goes out the door. That's how broken the bureaucracy is. So I think it's going to take a couple of business guys to come in, do this from the outside. We're going to have fun while we're at it. It's going to be the most transparent effort. We're certainly aiming to make this a transparent process so the American people can see how their money is being wasted. So we're all in it on the same team to fix it. I can't wait for Donald Trump to get back in that White House on January 20th. He's given us a broad mandate with his full support to get this done. I'm grateful to him for that. And Elon and I are pretty excited to get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most articulate man in the whole entire world. This man is so articulate. It's like he seems like the type of guy when he wakes up from bed, he just starts talking. Like, I mean, the moment he opens his eyes, he just lifts up off the bed and just, and the economy and such, he just, like, literally in the government and efficiencies, and he just seems like he just gets to talking. He seems like he that type of person. Extremely intelligent, extremely articulate. He was the valedictorian when he was in high school, so he lived up to the expectations. He's been living up to the expectations of what you would think a valedictorian would do. So